We are seeing a new era of design unfolding before our eyes. Our eyes are literally being flooded by curated contents that are specifically designed to make us feel things and do things. Take, for example, the infinite scrolling that every social media platform uses. Did you know that the designer behind this endless scrolling technology has recently apologized for inventing this? As it turns out, his invention is the ingredient that keeps us glued and addicted to our phones. While design used to be about creating simple things like toasters and posters, now we use design for things that are more social, moral, virtual, political, and systemic. More than ever, our everyday lives are being mediated by design. From the moment you wake up and snooze your alarm, to interacting with others, getting things what we need, to falling asleep at night to sleep sounds. More than ever, design has the power to change the world for the better or for worse, driving people apart or bringing them closer. Just take a look at how we interact with each other in public spaces. Even in places where it was normal to interact with strangers, all we see today is people glued to their phones. Saying hello and starting small conversations now feel rude because we might interrupt someone's screen time. Design has drastically changed the way we interact, but how much do you think the designers of the first smartphones thought about this? The same goes with social media. Rarely is someone designing with purely evil intentions. Social media platforms were initially designed to connect people as we share thoughts, photos, and videos. But did we foresee how they would also become a platform for racism, cyberbullying, and violence? Probably not. So it's time that we wake up and move away from shallow design into deep design, becoming more informed and intentional about design implications starts with the awareness that we are all designing. Everyone designs because design is how we solve problems in everyday life and organize unpredictability. A teacher arranging the desks in a classroom, a marketing team planning their new product launch, or a student preparing a presentation for their biology class. You see, we were always designing, but we were unaware of it. Most of the problems we see today are the results of that ignorance. We also live in an era where we're designing not just the visible, but also the invisible. Yes, we continue to design cars, but we're also designing car sharing. So we must no longer think design as an act of making pretty things. Design has a tremendous social impact that goes beyond what we ourselves can predict, even with the popular method of user interviews. What might happen when we let strangers get inside an unverified stranger's car? What might happen to society as a result? Just a few user interviews coded as empathy cannot give the privileged men of Silicon Valley the foreknowledge of how women or vulnerable populations would be affected by this. That is why the key ingredient to deep design is deep empathy. That's right, deep empathy. It's not just listening, nodding, saying, "I feel you." Nor is it going, "Oh yay, I interviewed some woman of color and now I can check off empathy." Feeling sorry for someone and crying together about it, it may be a good start, but genuinely trying to include this person in your life and be changed by that experience, that is deep. Good design has to start with empathy as a step in your design thinking process. But how about seeing it as the entire process, overlaid, mapped on, and infused in every step of the way? All of a sudden, the design process becomes more human. Deep empathy is what brings design ultimately to life and transforms the world for the good. Just like design is a process, empathy itself is a process. In the language of developmental science, empathy is not a process of assimilation, but accommodation. In deep empathy, we do not take information from another person only to stuff it in our own frame of thinking. We include other perspectives into every step of the way, allowing ourselves to explore, learn, and be changed by the different perspectives. Empathy is never done alone. It's achieved where there is collaboration with others, where there is inclusion and accessibility, giving a voice to those that are often excluded, a voice to someone you would normally never encounter. So how do we take empathy to the next level? It comes down to inclusion. Start by allowing for more diversity of experience. Allow yourself to work together with people that think differently from you. For guys like me, it's not enough that we imagine being in a woman's shoes. No matter how hard we try to empathize, our personal bias and assumption will always get in the way. If we truly want to design for people, we need to get different groups of people on the team. For fellow educators and adults, how about we start including young people in our decision-making processes? We need to stop assuming what the younger generation needs, but get them actually involved. Let them tell us what they need and let that guide our decisions. Like in these examples, deep empathy and deep design require action. They should take us beyond our comfort zones. We have to listen, we have to get a little uncomfortable, we have to include others in the process of whatever we are designing. That's how we'll get better at it. That's how we will solve problems better in our everyday lives and impose meaningful order to our current uncertain times for the good of all. Thank you.